Welcome to Fourth Quarter Clutch. We're doing a fantasy football preview for running backs. My name is Noah Weintraub, and my partner with me is Brian Zeigler. Brian, what are your thoughts on the running backs this year?
I think there's actually a good chunk of solid players this year. Going to be some really, really interesting training camp battles. I'm really liking. I really like Marshawn Lynch. With Percy Harvin going down, that sends a lot of production his way. Basically, they're going to rely a lot more on him with Harvin out for the season. I really like Ray Rice. You got Pitta out. You be losing a couple of downfield threats there, and I've always heard Baltimore saying, as Ray Rice goes, so does their offense. So big time running back there, more production his way because of losing some of those threats. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield too.
Oh, I totally agree. My guys that I really like, Trent Richardson, new offensive coordinator, second year in the league. He's healthy this preseason. He's just not playing games. One guy I really like in a really, really good offense, Reggie Bush. As we've seen from New Orleans days and at USC, if you give him the ball in open space, good luck catching that guy, because that guy is quick beyond belief.
Totally agree.
Another guy I really like is Steven Jackson. He went from the pathetic St. Louis Rams offense of last year to an offense with some respectable guys, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez, no big deal. They're all Pro Bowls or former Pro Bowl players. He's gonna get all the red zone rushes that he could want, and he's not going to have to face 8 or 9 guys in the box. They're going to have to play the passing game, and that's going to open up a lot of holes for him.
Yeah, I like Steven Jackson, but I like him more as a number 2 back, not a number 1. Just because he's in a more passing style offense. It's really a pass first offense, and I have a little bit of a worry on his health because he's getting a little older. He's had an injury before already. That kept him out a good chunk of the season. So as if he can stay healthy, I see him as a number 2. But mostly it's just because I don't see his production going as high in that offense.
Well, around that spot, you have 3 guys that were injured last year. You have Steven Jackson, Matt Forte, Maurice Jones-Drew. Which one do you like best out of those 3?
I think I like Maurice Jones-Drew. Just because he's in a more run-heavy offense, they're going to be running him like crazy. He might get hurt or something like that a little bit, but he's got a good history of injury. He's also not that old, and he's got more production coming his way because he's like a run-first offense there. So I like him better.
And the thing also for running backs is that almost every pick in the first round, probably for the first 2 rounds, are going to be running backs. Almost every pick.
Yeah.
At least for the first 15
Crazy.
picks. It's going to be almost everyone is running back. The exceptions are Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, maybe A.J. Green, and Aaron Rodgers. Other than that, every other pick is going to be running back. So that's going to be
I'd say Drew Brees is worth it too. For a top pick. I mean, he's had 3 5,000-yard seasons. I mean, that's definitely worth it, especially with Sean Payton being back. His interceptions should go down, so that's also another high pick too. So that should take away from running backs up in the top of the draft too.
Do you have any sleepers for running backs this year?
My sleeper is Darrell Richardson. Actually, Steven Jackson left. Obviously, he's not there anymore. Darrell Richardson, I see as the next man up. If he wins that job. He's going to get a decent amount of production. They're going to probably be more of a balanced type offense, bringing in some solid receivers. I think he's a great back. I see him easily getting 750 yards and 6 or 7 touchdowns. As long as he wins that job and stays healthy, he should be a solid running back. At least, I'd say probably between a number 3 and a number 2, in between a 2 and 3 there. He's definitely a solid guy and a great backup for sure, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Do you have another one or just Richardson?
He's my main guy. I do like the chances of Eddie Lacy coming up as a rookie and surprising some people. I'm not sure. I think a lot of people got him going a little higher in the draft, anyways. But there are going to be some leagues where he falls a little bit just because he's behind a couple of other players, and he's not seen as the Packers aren't seen as a run team or anything like that. But he's got amazing talent. He seriously reminds me of Barry Sanders, no joke.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like the same sort of run style.
Praise.
Yeah, same sort of run style. I'm not sure if he's going to get the same production as Barry Sanders, but he has the exact same run style. It's pretty sick.
Wow, Barry Sanders.
Mhm.
Well, my two guys are more under the radar guys. I would say one of them is probably around the same under the radar as Daryl Richardson. My first guy is Mark Ingram. And yes, this is still the guy that went to Bama and was a beast, winning the Heisman Trophy, and was a first-round pick. He has had some bad luck, not even injuries, just the coaches really didn't know how to use him. And so this year, without Chris Ivory there, and with Pierre Thomas struggling this offseason, and Darren Sproles getting very few carries, Sean Payton told Mark Ingram that they're going to run the ball a lot. And Ingram had a quote that when the Saints won the Super Bowl, they were top 10 in the league in rushing. And when you have a guy like Drew Brees as a quarterback, if you just get a little bit of room, you can run. And last year, he had 602 rushing yards and 5 TDs. And that you would say was an average year. I could see him getting 800 rushing yards, 7 to 8 TDs, easily.
Yeah, he's a great runner. They got to pick up one back and just go with him, because the last several years they've had at least 3 different backs that they've been like rotating in and out, trying to figure out who their actual number one is going to be. So my only issue there is you gotta pick your guy. Who's going to be the number one guy, and if they figure that out, if they say this guy's going to be there, he's going to be the number one guy, go with it, then yeah, that's a good possibility. The only other issue who's your risk pick this year? The guy that you would take a risk on, maybe not someone a lot of people would go for, but what do you got?
DeMarco Murray, I would take a risk on. I like his value. Yes, he's technically injury prone. He's on a really good offense, one of probably the most underrated offenses in the league with the Dallas Cowboys because of all the hate they get because of Tony Romo, who everyone loves to hate. He can run. He's shown he can run when he's healthy. And obviously with every running back there's an injury risk. That's why you draft a lot of running backs. If you could get him as a 2 or a 3, you could potentially put up a number 1 running back caliber numbers if he stays healthy. Because you can't have guys in the box against them. Not with Tony Romo throwing the ball. And he's going right after Le'Veon Bell, who's a rookie. Reggie Bush, who doesn't really run the ball. Frank Gore, who's getting old. Lamar Miller, who's first year as a starting running back. Chris Johnson. I mean, there's some people I'd rather have DeMarco Murray over that's going right in front of him, depending on the type of league you're in.
Yeah, I think that's a solid pick there, actually. A little risky, of course, but hey, that's what it's all about, right? That's what fantasy football is all about.
Yeah, you play to win. You don't play to play it safe. There's no safe fantasy football league, as far as I know of.
Yeah.
But my other sleeper pick, and this guy is a pretty big sleeper, Danny Woodhead. His name isn't attractive or as big as a guy like AP or Chris Ivory or any of them. But Danny Woodhead did move in the offseason. He moved from New England Patriots to the San Diego Chargers. Initially, I thought, Danny Woodhead, okay, he'll maybe get a couple of passes. But the more and more you see Ryan Matthews play, the more and more you start to like Danny Woodhead. Danny Woodhead's going to be a third down running back. He's going to play pretty much every single passing down. He can block, and he can catch the ball. And the big thing with him is if Ryan Matthews gets hurt, Woodhead can easily put top 20 numbers up, especially in PPR. He could be a poor man's Darren Sproles or Reggie Bush. And he's going pick 117. Now listen to this.
Wow.
These are the guys going in front of him. And tell me if you rather have any of these guys over Woodhead. Ben Tate, Bryce Brown, Jonathan Stewart, Fred Jackson, Vic Ballard, Jonathan Franklin.
None. No way. Danny Woodhead has a much better skill set than those guys. And, I mean, the chances of Ryan Matthews going down, I mean, what, 75, 85%?
Of course.
That he's going to get hurt at some point?
And instead of pounding that last beer at the end, round 11, take Danny Woodhead. If Ryan Matthews gets hurt, you have a running back or you have a trade chip.
Yeah.
Is there a guy you're willing to take a risk on?
Yeah, my risk, this guy's going high a good chunk here. I still think he's a risk. I'm going with Darren McFadden, actually. Because, I mean, and I think he's a risk because he hasn't played more than 12 games in the season yet. I mean, that's a big risk. And he was out, I think, half the season last year with just nagging injuries. This guy gets nagging injuries, those types of things. The ones that are just a pain in his side, basically, or in his legs. One of the,
absolutely.
But he stays healthy or something. He could easily be a number 2, even a number 1 actually, and put up. He's got explosive talent. They actually changed the blocking scheme in Oakland to give him a more downhill scheme. He's going to be running like crazy. Not just that, but he's got a good line in front of him. Jared Valdir is a solid tackle. Mike Brazil, if he can stay healthy. Stefan Wisniewski is a fantastic center. I mean, they've got the right tools. Plus, this is his last year on his contract. I mean, history says that is really good news. And
also,
I'm willing to take a risk on him.
You know, also a big thing with him, 2 words: contract year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That is
absolutely
big.
Absolutely. Either he gets a huge contract next year with the Raiders, or he gets a big contract on the market with somebody else. Either way, says big stats.
And honestly, with the running backs, he's going pick 51 on average in Yahoo. That's, depending on how you draft, that's a 2 or a 3. You draft a bunch of healthy running backs.
Pick.
Yeah,
5th round pick. Yeah.
He could be your flex, which wouldn't be bad. What are you doing, Jeremy? I mean, that's not bad. He's going right behind David Wilson, and I don't know why someone would pick David Wilson over Darren McFadden, but whatever. That's how you lose.
Yeah, I guess
so.
You play
to win. You don't play to lose. No,
Absolutely.
David Wilson. Giants.
All right, cool. Well, that's our that's it for us with fantasy running backs. Stay tuned to Fourth Quarter Clutch for more fantasy updates and previews.